Hello. Okay. My name is Bob Downey. Today is March 6th. I am a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University, and I am conducting this interview as part of my academic work. I will record this interview and use the information in an article I am writing for a research project. Article and recorded interview will be submitted to College for America so that my work as an interviewer/writer can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes.
Then please state the following. Right, where am I?
Do you... I, Christy Downey, give my informed consent to participate in this interview and to be recorded and used as part of the student's academic evaluation.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, the topic of the day is really revolved around the smartphone. And so I will have a number of questions around the smartphone, and I appreciate your answers. So, what excites you about your smartphone?
Instant information and connection with other people. Being able to answer a question, trivia or a fact or a look of information. Online ordering and communicating with other people via text and messaging programs and social media.
How do you stay on top of current news today?
I occasionally watch the news on TV or read the newspaper, but most of the time it comes from the internet and social media and various news sources on my smartphone browser.
How many times a day do you seek out the current news via your smartphone?
News? I'd probably say 3 to 4 times a day.
3 or 4 times a day. And how often do you think you access social networking sites each day?
More, probably, a dozen.
Do you feel that while you're accessing these social network sites, do you seek out those sites also for your information on news, current news?
Yeah, on Facebook I follow several local news sources as well as more national news sources as well. So they post updates and current events and global news and whatnot.
Interesting. How often do you think that you might text your friends and family each day with your smartphone?
Text? Dozens.
Dozens. Do you find that is now more common than placing phone calls to them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There are days that I go without speaking on the phone at all, but that doesn't, texting is usually every day to, multiple people.
If you had to put a percentage on it, what do you think that percentage might be as far as your time texting your friends and family versus calling them?
Probably 95% texting and 5% phone calls.
How do you feel when you don't have your phone, let's say you forget it, you don't have your phone on you or near you?
Lost. Empty-handed, especially with small children, feeling like I am detached and unable to be gotten hold of if something were to happen, or if somebody needed to contact me in an emergency especially.
It's interesting on how we become so addicted to it. Do you think that ultimately you spend more than 4 to 5 hours a day on your smartphone?
No, not more than 4 to 5 hours.
What do you think it might be as far as rough time frame?
Cumulatively, I'd say 1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours a day. How many days do you think you could go without using it if you had to?
Well, you can do anything if you have to. Ideally, I wouldn't, but I suppose I could survive for a day or two.
Yeah. When you take a look at your smartphone as a whole and total, what do you feel that you use it for the most?
Contact with other people. either by text message or other messaging apps, and just communication more so than anything.
What do you feel that you might use it for the least?
Gaming. I don't ever play games on my phone. Oh, and talking on it as well. I really don't make many phone calls anymore.
So if you're at home and you have your phone with you and it's charged and everything, do you prefer to use it versus your home line? And if so, why?
Every possible phone number I could ever find or need would be stored in my cell phone, whereas my home phone wouldn't have all those numbers stored into it. And the cell phone is just easier, it's more compact. I'm used to using it because it's what's with me all the time. And so yeah, I just tend to gravitate towards that if I do have to make a phone call. Otherwise, I'm usually using it for messaging. So
would you say it's become, for the most part, your main source of communication and outreach?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you feel that it possibly can, either for yourself or for others, interrupt or distract from normal daily activities?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you get wrapped up into something, reading something, and someone's trying to talk to you or ask you a question. It's easy to be distracted by what you're reading, and I would imagine for students in school, it's become a huge distraction. I'm surprised they're even allowed in schools these days.
Mm-hmm. Overall, I mean, what do you think what would you say, the smartphone has done to increase our want or need for current information and news? Has it increased your I guess want to seek out what might be taking place?
Yes. Your news is accessible at your fingertips on a minute-to-minute basis versus waiting for that 10 o'clock news at the end of your evening to see what's happened during the day. So if there's a plane crash or an international crisis or something silly with a celebrity having a baby, we hear about it at the moment, at the time, instead of at the end of the day.
What, if you don't mind me asking, behavioral changes do you think you've seen either in yourself or in others around you take place due to, in regards to our social interaction, due to this smartphone being available?
It's instant gratification. I think people are quicker to find out the answer to a question, and we're so used to having answers right at our fingertips, so much so that even my 8-year-old, if she asks me a question about giraffes and I don't know the answer, she says, "Google it, Mom." So I think we're all just used to having, our patience has probably diminished a little bit because we're so used to having access to information so quickly.
Do you think, though, because I mean, what are your thoughts on the fact that maybe because we have that in front of us, and we do seek out information and sometimes take in additional information with it being in front of us all the time, that perhaps we are more aware of topics of news, of history, of different things that are versus in the past where you would have to go to, let's say, a library to look things up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as far as just general knowledge, but also current events, if there's an election going on, or like I said, I mentioned earlier, an international crisis or anything, I feel like I am much more up to speed because the information is being, blasted on Facebook and social media, and an instant text, to somebody else, "Oh, did you hear this? Oh, did you hear that?" kind of thing, versus, waiting for a newspaper or to watch the news in the evening.
Yeah. What are your thoughts as far as where the smartphone might take us, and/or do you have any concerns of your children growing up, maybe possibly being addicted to it, being influenced by it at such an early age?
Well, as far as children go, I could definitely, lots of fears about smartphones and the internet, just predators and, children not knowing the consequences of, putting themselves or information out there, knowing that once you put it out there, it's, out there forever. But yeah, there's a lot of, news. There's things that I see posted all the time that I certainly wouldn't want my children to see. And I definitely, these kids, you can tell with the teenagers that you see out in public that they don't necessarily know how to have a conversation as well as they used to, because they're so used to texting each other. And at least when I was growing up, we did converse.
Yeah.
So you have both skill sets.
Yeah. Do you think that obviously an effect of having the smartphone and always being quickly connected, the younger generation is maybe possibly can be more addicted to staying involved on top of the celebrity news, if you will? I mean, and just in comparison to when we were younger, you didn't have as much of that connection or opportunity to gain that awareness of what's going on at all times.
Absolutely. Because when we were young, it was, you waited for your People magazine to find out what celebrities had babies, or, things like that, or who got a makeover, who colored their hair, or who's starring in a new movie. And now those poor celebrities, they can't make a move without social media blowing up and making it known to the world.
Well, I thank you very much for your time and your answers and feedback, and go enjoy your smartphone. Thank you.